Hey guys, what's up? It's me again. Well, you can see it from the title. It's not gonna be a unique, funny video. Well, I can make it fun, but it's not a fun thing. But let's do it. But before we start, remember to like, share, hit the bell notification, and subscribe if you like this content. And let's start. Bleh.
Day 8 of being a girl, and I've gotten some messages that are saying that I need to be calling myself a woman and not a girl. And I didn't even know that some women were offended by being called girls, so that's really good to know. But for me, the word girl feels great because I never got to be one growing up. And it feels very able to make mistakes and growing and changing and evolving, whereas the word woman feels very strong and confident and powerful, and that still intimidates me a little bit. So I'm gonna keep calling myself a girl. Hope that's okay. Love ya.
I will not be held prisoner, the trans woman turned back at the Ukrainian borders. Trans women are reportedly being denied passage to safer country despite their legal status as a woman and the danger posed by Russian transphobic policies. Okay. A strange hand searched her body and pulled back her hair to check if it was a wig. Judith looked at the faces of the Ukrainian border guards and felt fear and despair. Ukrainian border guards undress you and touch you everywhere, Judith says. You can see it on their faces. They were wondering, what are you? Of course, they're like, hey, boom, boom. Oi, that's a VP. Like you are some kind of animal or something. Well, maybe they were the animals and they thought they were having fun. Yes, it's gonna shock them. Judith is a transgender woman whose birth certificate defines her as a female. I mean, if you surprise them with something like that, even if they're a bad or a good guy, their face is always gonna look at you like you're an animal. Because that's the expression you have when somebody surprises you down there that you're like, hey man, is that a mushy hair? What? Hey, wait a second. There's a lot of mushy hair on the other side. Hey, wait a second. Is that the ball? Hey, wait. That's like the cancer that wait. You have cancer in your balls just like me? And then yes, it can be quite frustrating sometimes. Legally, there's no reason why she should not be allowed to pass by thousands of women who are crossing the Ukrainian border to safety every day. Yet on 12th of March at about 4 a.m., after a long, humiliating search, border guards determined that she was a man and prevented her passage into Poland. When Ukraine imposed martial law on the 24th of February, all men aged by between 18 and 60 were banned from leaving the country. Since then, it is estimated that hundreds of Ukrainian trans people have attempted to cross the border. The Guardian has been told by activities and aid workers that despite their legal status as a woman, dozens have been mistreated and pushed back at the borders, with many fearing for their lives in the event of Russia's transphobic regime takes over. Which I find kinda weird though, because when I look this law, it's just a few gay men that were protesting, they got arrested, and that's it. They're saying, look man, I don't mind you do what you're going to do, but don't promote it. Don't promote your funky lifestyle. That is what they're saying, which I think is kinda, well, I don't want them, well, I do want you to be you. I just don't want you to promote it in a way that it's in front of kids, because kids can use things just to feel part of a group. And as a parents, in the beginning, you correct more your kids than push them in a group. So anything that seems positive from a different person, doesn't have to be gay, anything is gonna feel like, hey, I'm a better choice than your gangster parents. They don't want you to have fun. So in a way, I do agree with them. I just don't agree that we have to beat you up like supposedly most Russians do in specific countries, round them up, close them up and everything, and they disappear. I don't agree with that. But this is just like almost like a don't say gay bill or something like that, but a different version. A little more stricter. According to the International Lesbian Gay Oh, no. It's not called Don't Say Gay Bill. Remember that. I almost fell in that trap. Don't say that. It's a weird bill that leftists call like that and right-wingers start supposedly calling it, and then everybody calls it Don't Say Gay Bill. So don't get it confused. I almost fell in that trap. No. I'm intelligent. According to the International Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Trans and Intersex Association, Ukraine ranks 39th of the 49 European countries if its overall treatment of LGBTQ plus people. Gay marriages is not allowed in the country. The Christian Unorthodox Church considers homosexuality a sin, and there are no anti-discrimination laws to protect LGBTQ plus people. Yep, it's a homophobic country, which supposedly I'm surprised you never left before if they're that homophobic. That's what they think. Come to Spain, you can have fun over here, bro. Since 2017, trans people in Ukraine have been legally recognized but must undergo extensive psychiatric observation and a lengthy bureaucratic process before their gender can be reflected on a formal document. Caught up in the complex process, thousands of Ukrainian trans people had no personal identity documents or certificate when war broke out, which makes sense. So when you reach the border, even if you qualify, you might have issues. I think the only men that actually have an advantage to cross the border are like the super small 5 foot something man with a baby cute face, and they can be like, hey, I'm 15, and then yeah, you're kind of Gucci. That's the only way you're gonna pass through. But if you don't have the document, yeah, that's the only way, because they're not gonna send a kid, man. But then again, I don't understand why you want to pass. That would make people that have to go to war so angry see you not going forward because you think it's unfair and you identify as a woman. It's like, I'm gonna go to die, and you're like, I'm not getting my hormones. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm being a little hard on you, but then again, I'm just saying that it does not surprise me people might get angry at you at that moment. Martial law says all males are obliged to serve in the military, so they can't leave the country, says Olena Sovensko, 39, a human rights defender and the chair of Inside Ukrainian LGBTQ plus organization and one of the few public organizations in the country that works with trans people. Technically, the law applies to trans people as well, including both certified men and trans women who had not changed their documents, which is weird, because if you say that, anybody can just come there and be like the new Supreme Court, I don't know what a woman is, but I identified as a woman. Now you can do that.
If I decide right now that I'm a woman, then apparently I'm a woman. Does that mean that I would have Article 3 standing to challenge a gender-based restriction?
Senator, to the extent that you are asking me about who has the ability to bring lawsuits based on gender, those kinds of issues are working their way through the courts, and I'm not able to comment on them.
Okay, if I can change my gender, if I can be a woman, and then an hour later, if I decide I'm not a woman anymore, I guess I would lose Article 3 standing. Tell me, does that same principle apply to other protected characteristics? For example, I'm an Hispanic man. Could I decide I was an Asian man? Would I have the ability to be an Asian man and challenge Harvard's discrimination because I made that decision?
Senator, I'm not able to answer your question. You're asking me about hypotheticals and
Well, I'm asking you how you would assess standing if I came in and said, I have decided I identify as an Asian man.
I would assess standing the way I assess other legal issues, which is to listen to the arguments made by the parties, consider the relevant precedents, and the constitutional principles involved, and make a determination.
But it sounds like Ukrainian border guards are preventing even trans people with a valid certificate reflecting their new gender from leaving Ukraine, and nobody knows why. How do you not know why? The olden rules is keeping them there to fight, right? You don't want to be part of the olden rules, but the new rules that olden rules make possible, you want to take advantage of that. Be like, well, I identify as a woman, but I don't want to fight like the men. But if the men fix it, I want to be able to come back and survive in that world as a woman. You can't just switch, because I know certain people are switching, and when one switch, they're gonna group you. Just like when they saw the swastika. Trump, one swastika, everybody's bad. Guess what? One opinion of a trans person that tries to escape, every trans is bad. Judas is from Svatov in the Luhansk region, which is controlled by Moscow-backed separatists. She fled to Kiev from Russian force before Russian forces took her town. So you escape from the Nazis to escape the Russians. Toxic masculinity, and toxic masculinity is fighting to keep you also safe. It's like, woo. I don't know why you're still in the country. As soon as I arrived in the village near the capital, my grandma's house in Svatov was destroyed by a missile. Ooh, she said. After I left, I had no money and lived in a basement in the village of the outskirts of Kiev. One day, a rocket hit about 150 meters from the house I was living in. Since then, I have had nightmares about my limbs were blown off by a bomb. Do not tell that to any soldiers if a few of their friends died, which I think is already happening, but okay. In their haste to leave the bombed villages, thousands of Ukrainians did not stop to gather up documents such as passport and had never applied for one before. That makes sense. Recognizing this difficulty and the urgent need to help people travel to safety once the Russian shelling began, the Ukrainian government instructed officials to recognize any ID certificate or document, original or photocopy, at the border. As soon as Judith arrived at the border crossing last week, two guards stopped her and asked her to follow them to a room beside the customs office where they physically examined her. Afterwards, one of the guards says, "You are a guy, so get the hell out of here," and told me I should be grateful they didn't call the police, even though I have legally valid documents that states I am a female. Yes, you believe that. They don't believe that. They don't believe a document changes that. They don't believe if you take hormone, it changes. The only way it changes is if you cut it off. It seems you did it. Go to war, they replied, adding to more than 3 million people had already fled the country and they weren't going to let me out. See, what did I tell you? Vindictive. Alice, 24, trans woman from Brovary, a town from Kiev, recounted a similar experience. She and her wife, Helen, a 21-year-old who identifies as non-binary, were stopped by the border guards during an attempt. They took us to a building near the border crossing, recounts Alice. There were 3 officers in the room. They told us to take off our clothes. They checked our hands, arms, checked my neck to see if I had Adam's apple. Okay. They touched my breast. After examining us, border guards told us we were men. We were men! Okay. We tried to explain our situation, but they didn't care. No, they're not gonna care. They touched your breast. LGBTQ plus association and human rights defenders are warning that since the beginning of the invasion, trans people are running out of hormones because of the pharmacy closure and lack of medicine across the country. If you stop taking hormones suddenly, it's extremely harmful to your health. Wait, is that true?
A few moments later.
They're talking about quality of life. They're not talking about you going to die. I don't think you can go to a bunch of soldiers and tell them, "Hey man, I need to get out of the country because if I don't take hormones, my quality of life is gonna go bleh." Especially if somebody knows that he will be forced to fight because maybe somebody might shoot him in his back because he's a man, right? I don't say that you are not supposed to be able to live the way you want. But as a man, you have a specific right in a country. I find it very disingenuous that you're saying, if I don't get my hormones, I will die. And by their standard, you don't die from hormones if you don't get them. How can you tell them, "Hey man, I'm a woman," and they're like, "You're not a woman. You're supposed to be here fighting with me. I have to fight. For you? I don't want to fight for you." No, you identify like the Americans. What? And the Americans put LGBTQ on our uniform? We don't do that. We're Christians. What do you think is gonna happen? I respect you. I want you to live the way you want to live. But we need to promote it. We need to be nice about it. I have to be careful how I talk on a video. If you say something gangster, I kill myself, I'm stupid. Vice versa, done. But in that place, somebody that's going to die for you and they have to fight for you, die for you? How can somebody stay there for a country? They fight for this country, for the kids that's gonna make more babies, for the mama that's gonna take for the kids, for the daughters that's gonna make more baby for the country. Everybody's gonna do something, and you're gonna come in, "I want a little too." Are you gonna make babies? No, I might adopt a dog. No, we're gonna go to school and we're gonna guide the kids. Don't say gay. What do you mean? That's like somebody that cooks a humongous meal and you only come there to be like, "Hey man, that's my husband or that's my wife. We are a family. Enjoy our dinner." I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm the one going crazy. Maybe I'm homophobic. Maybe I'm too honest. But Anyway, I don't want to talk too much. Let me know what you guys think. Bada bing bam boom. Like, share, comment. See you guys next time. Peace.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong.